I do want to show you one other clip of her. She's out still doing her founder podcast.
Oh, yeah.
And she wanted us all to know, as she worked in that clip we ran there, to remind us she's a regular person, Maureen. She's a working mom. So she gets what it's like to be a working mom. Here's the clip.
I will say for myself, like, especially when they're babies. And yes, the crying. Before I was a mom, and I've always wanted to be a mom. Before I was a mom, I was like, oh gosh, I'm going to give a speech with a baby on my hip. I had a whole vision. I was like, I'm just going to. And then you fast forward. Granted, I had a lot of external things happening by the time I had both pregnancies and both babies. But it was not the way I envisioned it. For me, it's so important that my kids see me as a working mom.
Oh my God. And that we all see her as that, because she feels guilty about the $150 million she grifted off of being a fake royal.
Me. So important. As I've predicted, once these kids hit 18, they are moving to the East Coast, if not out of the country.
Could be back to the UK entirely.
Or could be back to the UK entirely. Yeah. Exactly. And it was the whole thing too. She was saying on one of the other shows, I write them emails every night.
Yeah.
So 365, I can't do the math. 365 days times 18.
Yeah.
How many emails is that?
Like they're going to have the time to go through that?
No.
Who the hell wants to review thousands of emails from their mom when they were 2, when they're later 22?
And then, of course, I leave the room from them. We don't ever talk about the help, right?
Right.
I leave the room just to take a moment for myself into the other room. And then I miss them so much that rather than go back into the other room, I scroll on my phone.
Right. But she pictured herself giving her speeches with a child on the hip. She's just so cool. She's going to do it all. But now that she's a working mom, Maureen, she's realizing it's just so hard, the life-work balance, notwithstanding your huge mansion and your full staff and the fact that you're married to a prince. She understands the plight of working women across America.
Clearly she does. And also, I'm curious as to how she was going to give said speeches with a baby on her hip when Prince Harry has said the reason they left was largely to keep their children completely out of the public eye.
Right. Which she wants us to remind us of, that she's a princess and she was part of the royal family. That's why she couldn't give the speeches, because there was a lot going on in my personal life at the time my babies were born.
There was so much going on, like when you're slinging allegedly baseless accusations of racism against two of the most famous monarchs on the planet. There's a lot going on.
Couldn't have a baby on the hip because I had to sling those from the hip. Ba-dum-bum. This July, there is a global summit of BRICS nations in Rio de Janeiro. The bloc of emerging superpowers, including China, Russia, India, and Iran, are meeting with the goal of displacing the US dollar as the global currency. They're calling this the Rio Reset. As BRICS nations push forward with their plans, some worry global demand for US dollars will decrease, bringing down the value of the dollars in your savings. While this transition, if it happens, would not happen overnight, the Rio Reset could mark a pivotal moment. So learn if diversifying your savings into gold is right for you. Birch Gold Group can help you move your hard-earned savings into a tax-sheltered IRA in precious metals. Claim your free info kit on gold by texting MK to the number 989898. With an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau and tens of thousands of happy customers, let Birch Gold arm you with a free, no-obligation info kit on owning gold before July and the Rio Reset. Text MK to the number 989898 today. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.